some stuff to talk about this week. Mm-hmm. We got to talk about the fact that we get... So the interesting thing is I saw... Excuse me, I didn't mean to pop the mic there. I saw...
What the fuck?
I saw this get leaked months ago. But the whole absolute... Well, at least the whole absolute Batman thing, that itself was leaked because that image of him was leaked before that came out. I didn't
with just a big slab of black across his chest.
Yeah, and it was black and white, and it's the same image that's there now. It's just there's no visible cape, and it looks like their wings. Like, are we saying he flaps his arms like a bird? Excuse me. But regardless, I will say this. Mm-hmm. The creative team behind Absolute Batman does make me interested because it's Scott Snyder.
Who?
It's Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. Nick Dragotta was the artist on East of West, which is an absolutely beautiful book. So that does excite me, and I've always really liked Snyder's Batman stuff. So that I don't remember the other creative teams, but anyway, they announced that DC is doing the trinity of doing Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Superman.
It's like what it's called? It's called DC what?
I don't know, but it's
All In DC.
Oh yeah, DC All In or something like that. And I think it's what I think it is it's the typical we've talked about on the show before. It's that usual thing where we've got this whole new universe coming out, these James Gunn movies coming out. So now we have to, again, reboot these characters in an interesting way. You know what I mean? Or present... and that's what...
So like the New 52?
No, I mean, we've applauded DC for doing this, though. This is what DC does. They take beloved characters and they find ways to reinvent them. But I just think, based on image alone, I just cannot get over how ugly that Batman logo is. Like, it's just bad. I also want to point out that Tyler is a hypocrite because he said he wouldn't talk shit on Rob Liefeld, and then he makes a joke on the tweet I made about the bat symbol.
Well, come on. Who else would come up with something stupid like that?
Wow.
Yeah, art by Nick Dragotta.
Or Dragotta, I don't know. But he did East of West, and that is a gorgeous book, which I'll talk about later.
Look, here's the thing, and DC... There's noticeable differences between DC and Marvel. One thing that DC has all in is their ability to do a complete and total reboot. And sometimes within the same year.
And it's like
but they're also not averse to letting their characters be toyed with and played with and reimagined.
They always understand that idea of each generation is going to want a different iteration of the character.
Right.
And they know that these characters are interesting enough and strong enough that so many writers could just plug in and write it like.
But that's fucking ugly, and don't give me like one thing about the what the hell?
Can I just say I feel like a
Batman movie with the recent one. God,
the Batman
directed it.
Matt Reeves.
Yes, sorry. God, Matt Reeves directed.
Actually, it was Ben Shapiro.
No shit. But
this movie doesn't make sense.
The bat symbol was largely the way that the costume designers did something really cool, and they made it so that it almost looked like it was incidental to the armor. That he built it, and it just happened to show up.
And it also happened to be a tool. Like, it happened to be like a batarang,
Yeah, and that was really, really neat.
That's
how
idea,
you reimagine the Batman logo or whatever. That's a cool way. This just looks like a big slab of, like, somebody just took a big, big paintbrush and...
And,
there's nothing scary about that. There's nothing... If they're trying to tell us that's his shield, well, that's small.
And that's just that happens to just be the nature of when you have a character that's existed for 80 plus years.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when you have a very popular character. That's why Spider-Man has 1,000 different suit variations, and Batman has 1,000 different ones, and Superman. And you know what? I like that. Like when I play those Spider-Man games, and I just started playing the Batman Arkham games again because shout out to Arkham Revisited, that series I started 2 years ago and never finished, but I'm getting back into.
Nice. I don't know why I was like, you're nice.
That whole game, like those games have so many different different skins and costumes. And it's just when you see that character exist for so long, you're going to see all these different redesigns. But yeah, that logo, it's like, this is my thing. Yeah. It is so hard to fuck up the bat symbol. It really is, because I have a poster up on my wall right now that's a different looking bat symbol. It's always got a different iteration, but it's pretty simple. You just got to get wings and ears, and this doesn't even do that. It's just ears,
a slab,
and then a bunch of. And I get that it's like kind of going for like more of like a, I don't know, more of a medieval look, but I don't know. It just
look
maybe the story's good, but I'm just saying
the reimagined Wonder Woman
looks like shit,
and the reimagined Superman. Those are not like drastically different.
Those aren't that bad. I don't like them, but they're not as bad as the bat symbol one.
If you give me a good enough in-story reason for why the bat symbol looks so different in this iteration,
sure.
And you could,
yeah.
I've seen some writers fucking write their shit around.
It was a great Batman writer, so I'm
sure
there's
got to be some sort of reasoning in the story why it looks like that.
Yeah,
and I am interested to know,
and why he doesn't look like he doesn't have a cape, you know.
And we've talked about this before with.
I hate to judge a book by its cover.
Kite Man, hell yeah,
yeah.
You know, they're very clearly they're not as territorial, if you will, or
sacred about canon
and characters. Yeah, exactly. And Marvel's gotten a lot better at it in recent years. They've been allowing a lot more independent
with the multiverse stuff, and
and they've allowed the fact that, you know, there can be different stories, but they have done a pretty masterful job of trying to keep everything in one kind of thing.
Yeah. Just different, like the Earth 1999, you know, just having different names.
I think there's always been, you know, and DC up until the 70s almost didn't have like an overarching net that was like, hey, this is where things can go and not. So every writer did whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to come up with the idea of the multiverse and Earth C and D and E and Earth, you know, 3,900, you know what I mean? And that's the way the DC universe was for a while, is just all these different Earths.
Yeah.
And so then they scrapped that with the Crisis on Infinite Earths, is why that's called that. But lately, I think they've done full reboots. Like, what, since 2000, they've done, what, 6 or 7? This has got to be the 6 or 7.
I feel like they've done like 6 or 7 since fucking New 52.
No shit, right? And to me, like, if I'm a DC fan, and I'm not necessarily... But here's what turns me off about that, is I know when I go to either one of my comic book stores, both have their Marvels and DCs, you know, separated out so you can, you know, look at one or the other.
And then they have like indies and all that.
Right. But Marvel, there's generally a book that is either starting or in progress that I know I can pick up and start following, or if I like that character. In DC, I don't know what's happening over there. Every month it seems like there's different titles, and it's hard for me. And again, it probably has a lot to do with the fact that I don't follow DC that much.
Yeah.
But even, you know, again, like 6 months, I haven't been into a comic shop for 6 months. And if I go into one and I looked at Marvel, I could probably pick out what the fuck is going on, kind of, and go, okay, I'm going to get these 2 books and whatever.
Yeah.
DC, I'd be like, I bought a Lobo book one time that was a one-shot, but I'm like, aren't they all one-shots at this point? I don't know. It's just everything works differently for other comics, you know. And I feel like DC and Marvel.
Just hate it.
No, DC and Marvel both have their strengths and both have their weaknesses.
Yeah.
I tend to be a lot better. I tend to be a lot more generous about Marvel's mistakes than DC's, which is why I tend to lean Marvel.
Wow.
You know, if Marvel makes a mistake, I'm a lot easier to forgive it than if it's DC.
I'm trying.
If it's DC, I'm like, you fucking dicks.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what this absolute line is and what this whole DC is. And that's like, while I can applaud them for allowing artists to tell whatever stories they want with these characters and find ways to iterate on these characters, sometimes it does get a little bit, and I could see where you would prefer the Marvelness of it, where there's a little bit more of
There's a
a little bit more cohesion to
yeah,
it.
like
where
even the Ultimate stuff is clearly like another
it's just
thing.
it is its own thing, but it's mirroring what you already know.
Right.
And it's modernizing
but
these
it's a way for them to
characters.
say,
Yeah.
hey, this is completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Red Skull being Steve Rogers' kid. That's kind of fucked up.
Well, then there's other. Yeah, I mean, don't even get me started on the Ultimates and that whole thing. But anyway, yeah, and so I'm just trying to figure out where this kind of fits in the grand scheme of things, and what makes it absolute Batman, what makes it absolute Wonder Woman, or what absolute Superman. I don't know what that necessarily is, because I mean, I don't remember exactly when it was. It was just a few years ago. They got rid of Vertigo.
Right.
And
The
they
Vertigo
turned it into DC Black Label.
Yeah.
And it still exists as far as I know, but so this isn't a DC Black Label. It's not, is it? Like just a
Well, they
DC
had
book,
Young-
but then it says it's DC All In. I'm
They
like,
had
what
Young
are we
Animal
doing?
for a little bit, which was, whatever. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, way back in the day, Marvel had Epic, and then they had Star. And Star Comics was all of the, like, Strawberry Shortcake and Care Bears and Heathcliff and Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham was a Star book.
Oh, okay.
But they've changed imprints as much as they can. Doesn't Marvel own Image now? Or some shit? Or are they still independent? Image.
Oh, no, Image is still independent.
You'd figure they wouldn't lose that much money.
No, but it is kind of weird because Image owns the Transformers rights.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I read that.
IDW.
Yeah, so IDW, that folded. And then, yeah, Kirkman's Skybound imprint, which is weird because Image is its own thing, right? And it's independent owned, but there's imprints. So, like,
Mark Silvestri.
Kirkman has his own with Skybound.
Mm-hmm. Mark Silvestri had his own called Top Cow.
Oh, and the
back
dude,
in the day.
that did Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, and Beta Ray Bill,
Daniel Warren Johnson.
he's doing a Transformers book.
Cool.
That I want to read
Yeah,
because
that'd be
his art
fucking cool.
is fucking great, and I can only imagine how cool he would make robots fighting each other because that dude loves to draw a fucking body slam. And as a wrestling fan, as a wrestling fan, I could appreciate it. But
there was a lot of fucking. There was a lot of WWE overtones in that book, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, especially Beta Ray Bill, and that's why I really like that series. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out this whole absolute DC stuff. I was trying to look that up. So yeah, it's gonna be this fall. Mm-hmm. The new Absolute Universe will be hitting shelves at your local comic book store October, November, and beyond. DC. This is from DC.com, actually.
Well, from the mouth
From the horse's
of
ass.
the butthole.
Oh. DC revealed the main covers for Absolute Batman #1, Absolute Wonder Woman #1, and Absolute Superman #1. And I gotta say, Batman looks the worst in terms of these redesigns and costume wise. Like they all look like Wonder Woman's a super. Like you seen the covers?
I looked at it online.
Yeah, they actually look cool. Those are cool.
But Batman's like, what is that?
What?
Is he a gargoyle?
Is he? Why is he so fucking jacked? He's huge. So here we go.
He looks like he can't wipe his own butt.
This is the description of what these are.
Let's hear it,
according to
motherfucker.
DC. Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta introduce fans to the new Batman with the release of Absolute Batman #1. In this iteration, fans will be introduced to a version of the Dark Knight that doesn't have the money, mansion, or butler of his core line counterpart. Readers will quickly find out what makes the absolute version of Batman with the debut issue, with the colors by Frank Martin and letters by Clayton Cowles. And this will be the one that comes out Wednesday, October 9th. So we've got a poor Batman. Okay.
So I think we have
shit.
to-
I take it back. I fucking take this whole segment and throw it in the garbage. I will throw it away right now because this looks fucking dope. I take it all back. Look, I don't want to turn I want to show it to you, but I don't want to turn the
Just give me
laptop.
A
Hold on a second. Pull it up here.
Just pause it.
All I'm saying is it looks that is a great example of the symbol actually growing on me a little bit and being like, okay, this makes a little more sense. Here's a quick description from DC. This is also coming out in October. Absolute Wonder Woman #1. For Diana, there is no island paradise, no sisterhood to shape her, nor a mission of peace. So what is the purpose of an Amazon warrior in this new universe?
Yeah.
So it's going to be Kelly Thompson. Ooh. And breakout artist Hayden Sherman. Absolute Wonder Woman #1 will hit shelves October 23rd. And let's see what Superman is. Holy shit, Jason Aaron?
Is doing who?
Superman.
Okay.
Jason Aaron and artist Rafa Sandoval will join forces and present a new Man of Steel with the launch of Absolute Superman #1. Superman has no family, no fortress. Okay. No family, no fortress of solitude, and no home. Will he still stand for truth and justice in this new universe or not? We'll find out. November 6th. Excuse me. Is when that comes out. Oh, god dang, dude. These are cool. Is Capullo doing Superman? No, Sandoval. Duh, I just said that. What book did you say Capullo was doing?
The Wolverine.
Wolverine Rebirth or something like that. But yeah, interesting.
so-
Interesting. I wonder. I like that they're like, well, we're gonna do it differently. We're just gonna strip everything that makes them these characters. But why are they absolute? You know. But I still stand by that logo is the Batman logo is the weakest of the three.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about the hammer. Are you trying to tell me he's Thor?
I don't care, man. Jason Aaron doing Superman is an interesting
I
choice.
feel.
I like that a lot.
When are they each coming out? October's Batman.
October 9th for Batman, October 23rd for Wonder Woman, and then November. I just closed out of it. It's in November.
Where to go,
Superman.
Dick?
I want to say the first week in November or
So
second week.
September 9th.
November 9th or something like that. No, November. Before Thanksgiving. Fuck you. I don't know.
Fuck you. September 9th.
I would love to read the #1s and give them a shot.
We should review the Batman one just to see what the fuck is going on.
I would gladly try and read all three of them for sure. At least give the #1s a shot. But the
I'll
thing,
give a #1 a shot, but never a #2.
well, the issue is with that I would prefer to just, you know me, I prefer to just read it as a trade. But you know, if we were going to do it for the show, I would check out the #1s just to see. I'm not looking to. I don't know. I'm interested, but again, it's now we're doing an absolute universe and a whole new thing, and exciting though. I would love. I want to see what Jason. We're still trying to find fucking Batman Offworld, at least #1, because I don't know. I think the series is over or close to being over.
I have no idea. And
I think it was only like 6 issues.
I still haven't seen the 4th issue of Batman Dark Age.
Yeah.
Which we want to review because Space Age was so fucking good.
Oh my gosh, we spent an hour on that fucking book. That's how much we loved it.
So good.
So good.
So good. So good. So we're thinking about reviewing and maybe, following, because it's a 4-part series, so I think it all comes out on one day.
What?
But we were thinking about reviewing the Rebuild the Galaxy Lego Star Wars special. So if you're a fan of this show and you really want us to review that, then leave a comment. Tell us how woke we are.
Wow. Oh yeah, so it's not finished yet, by the way. Batman Offworld, there's only 4 issues. It's a 6-issue series. There's only 4 out.
And we still can't find #1.
I just want to read.
Might have to wait for the trade.
I just want to read it.
I mean, that's stuff I can get behind. Like, okay,
Yeah,
if you're going to tell me that you're going to change the entire DC, if you're going to tell me that you're going to change the entire DC universe, and make Batman into like a Thor type thing, that's kind of dumb. But if you're going to tell me, hey man, here's my pitch for a Batman comic book, he goes to space. Anything else? No, he goes
fights.
to space.
He again.
Space.
I've not read it, but I've heard the basic premise of it is this is early in his Batman career, and he fights an alien, loses, and says, "I gotta go to fucking space and learn how to fight aliens." And so he just goes. That's the whole series.
That's cool.
And that works.
That's fucking cool. No, I'm saying, I would green light the fuck out of that goddamn series if I was the editor. Like, yes, I need more ideas like that.
See, and that's why we always got to go back and forth with the idea of like, I love that DC can do that.
Yeah.
And Marvel can do that too. It's just DC seems more willing. DC has always been more into selling graphic novels and trades. Like that has always been their bag.
Yeah.
Especially Batman. Batman has been one of the characters that has always had so many self-contained stories because he and Spider-Man, I could argue a little bit too, but Batman is such a big character that he gets constantly reinvented and recreated because he's so iconic.
Well, I think we can't really discount the idea that they know they're about to go public domain.
Yeah.
I think we can't discount the fact that they're trying as hard as they can.
Well, it's the whole Disney.
To milk
it's like
as much
Disney with
of
Mickey,
the executive shit out of it, these or the exclusivity out of it before they just lose it totally.
The Steamboat Willie finally happened. They finally caved on Steamboat Willie, but
what happened to Steamboat Willie?
Honestly, it's going to be interesting to see what will happen out of that, and the fact that like we're going to live in a world
where we're going to see Mickey
where you could technically make money off of doing a Batman fan film because it's public domain. You could sell it. Like that's a crazy concept.
Okay, now let's be clear about some stuff here. Like right now, if you want to, you can make money off of I think
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh is a great example of one
Willie.
that but there's other stuff like from years past, like public domain stuff that's just like Gulliver's Travels, Frankenstein, Dracula, that type of shit. Like, yeah, you can, but I think obviously the enticement is that almost all of my life those things have been public domain. And we're talking about like you're talking about Winnie the Pooh has been much more recent. Mm-hmm. And now we're talking about Mickey Mouse, we're talking about Batman and Superman, and we're talking about Captain America, is going to be public domain if that's how it works. 100 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be another 15.
I think it's kind of an interesting concept because as a creator, if I'm alive, I don't want that shit to happen to my stuff. But if I'm dead, I don't give a fuck what they do to my characters. I'm dead. What am I going to do about it? That's why I kind of love that concept. Yeah. But what a weird idea to think that, like, I could go out my back at some point in my lifetime. I could just shoot a Batman movie in my backyard and make money off of it if I really wanted to. Crazy
You could
world.
Just shoot a Batman movie.
I don't know where.
You know,
these last few weeks, we've been more relaxed. More relaxed fit. More conversational.
Well, it's time to get back to base. Wait, are we doing that or
let's
no?
get serious, you freaks.
Wow.
What? Freaks is too far?
No, I don't know. Just
I don't know.
Really aggro, really aggressive.
What? You got a problem?
What are we doing? Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.